following is a special presentation. From the Captain eSports Network.
Live from the Homestead-Miami Speedway, we welcome you in to Sim500 and a championship night here on the Xfinity Series side, presented by NC811, as we have 130 laps of racing coming up here in just a few moments. But first, we're going to have ourselves a little bit of an extended pre-race show here tonight, where we're going to talk to hopefully the 4 drivers that'll race for the championship. And who knows, maybe a few more before it's all said and done. But first, we got to cover some things. Like number 1, the point standings as we enter this race. Now, when I show you this, there is no playoff championship type of race thing. But when you see this, it's literally what it looks like. When you see the points, Justin Fuller, Mike Kelly, Braxton Deweese, Stephen Miles. Literally 2 points separates first through third. Stephen Miles, he is 10 points behind in fourth. It has been that crazy and that tight of a playoff for the last 3 races, and tonight the 4th and final race before we crown the champion here tonight at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. I am the captain. We welcome you in. As you see, the weather is pretty warm and pretty hot, summertime, and the perfect type of weather to crown ourselves a champion here this evening. As I mentioned, going to talk to some drivers here, so let's get this show on the road here. And I think it would not be perfect if I didn't talk to the guy right off the bat who's coming off a win last week, sweeping in Iowa, and might be the favorite to win this championship. He's had a pretty dominant season for the most part. He missed a lot of races, so you could say it's been kind of the unorthodox way of winning a championship if he's able to do so tonight. But he does enter tonight with the point lead, and that being Justin Fuller. And let's bring him up here and have a little chat for a couple minutes with the driver. Justin, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, bud. So obviously tonight is a pretty big night. Obviously a 2-point lead entering, so mistake-wise, there really isn't any room for it. So you've had a week to get ready. Kind of what's going through the mind, and what kind of preparation you're doing mentally to kind of make sure you have that smooth race tonight.
Just another day in the office, right? I can't have any mistakes tonight. You're right. I used all my mistakes up in the first 2 races of this round, so probably cost myself a good solid 10 to 12 points in those first 2 races combined. So I don't have any kind of a buffer tonight, but that's unfortunate. So it is what it is, though. We were able to rebound in the last 2 races, or the last race there, and really put myself in position to at least have the points lead coming into tonight. So we'll see what we can do. This isn't one of my better racetracks, so that's really why I was hoping to have a little bit of a point lead. But just nothing new in the preparation. Just go out here, do the best job that I can, and hope to come out on top.
Now, you've had the more unorthodox type of season, per se, to come through. Obviously missed a lot of races at the beginning and just soared through the field as you were winning, and obviously have won the most races this season. So does not winning a championship tonight kind of feel like that empty gap in what was a very good season, or does those wins and stuff make up for the fact that if you don't win the championship, it's like, hey, you know what, it was a good season?
I mean, yeah, it was a great season, right? So we started late. We were able to rebound, get ourselves in the playoffs, got a lot of wins and top 5s and top 10s. So great season nonetheless. Championship top to cap it off would be great, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've never won anything other than a truck championship at Sim500. So the odds are not in my favor, but we'll see what we can do tonight. Obviously, I'll be pretty happy if we can pull it off, but if not, I'm not going to be too down in the dumps about it. Just hopefully it's a good, clean race, and may the best man win.
Yeah, Homestead's usually predominantly a clean race, so let's hope for that tonight. And we'll see, man. Obviously, qualifying coming up in about 14 minutes or so, man. I appreciate your time. I know you got some more laps to go run, your P2 in practice, so go get them.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Justin Fuller, the points leader, entering tonight, and as you heard him say, he has not won anything outside of a truck championship in his driving career in Sim500. So tonight would be that step forward that he's looking for. But what a season he has had, as I look over here at the numbers for Fuller this season. 6 wins, 17 top 10s, yet he's only made 22 starts. So, in other words, he's only had 5 races outside the top 10. It's been that good of a season for Fuller, and you could easily say he's the favorite tonight when this thing's over with. But there's a guy who, he's a Hall of Famer in Sim500. He's won plenty of championships. He's a former pro driver himself, and he's got himself 2 wins this season, including the opener at Daytona earlier this season. And maybe, just maybe, could be the underdog when it comes into this race here tonight. And that's Mike Kelly. We're going to talk to him in just a little bit. We also got Braxton DeWeese. He's the 3rd driver involved here. And Braxton with no wins this season. And no wins in his career here at Sim500. And that's going to sound like kind of a downer right there, right? But not necessarily. In this situation, this man, it's his rookie year. So it's his first time running in Sim500, period. And he's got the most top 10s this season. He's got the most top 5s, won the regular season championship, and has done everything but that victory lane march. And what a cinematic year, I guess it would be for him, if he were able to pull this off. As Braxton's hanging out here in channel, so let's get him up here with us. Braxton, appreciate you joining us here. Obviously, consistency-wise, you're that guy. You've had 19 top 10s and 27 starts. You've had 17 top 5s, both the most in the series this season. At one spot missing is that win. And tonight might be one of those situations where the win has to happen to go to the championship potentially here and be crowned basically when it's over with tonight. So, any pressure?
A little bit, but you just got to go into it like you would any other race. Trying to do your best, hit all your marks, and trying to come out with the win. We haven't come out with the win yet this year, like you said, but we've definitely been consistent, like you said. So hopefully we can still have the consistency, but also just be a step better to get that win. It's definitely going to be a difficult one, but I feel like if we hit our marks and do the strategy right and be able to stay up front, get out front, be up front to start with, is very key. So, like I said, just try to hit our marks, and hopefully we can get a couple extra points from leading the lap and leading most laps or something like that. And hopefully, but you got to be there in that position. So it all comes down to qualifying and being able to get up there. So, like I said, just hitting the marks, and that's what we're going to try to do.
So obviously, winning is big. Getting the most laps led and laps led would be a pretty big factor also. But in order to do that, you got to have a fast car. And obviously, this season in this car and a lot in iRacing, you get the cars that are good on short runs. You get the cars that are good on long runs. Does Braxton want a short run or a long run tonight?
If we can get out front, then I want it to be a long run. But if I can't get out there, then short runs it is. But like I said, it just comes down to if I'm able to save the rears for the long run, which, we've had over 405 laps of consecutive green flag laps. So
yeah.
I guarantee it's probably going to go green a little bit. So being able to keep the rears on it, obviously still being able to get down to the bottom or get to that first seam or whatever line it ended up getting to or stays at. So
losing Braxton there for a second, but he heard him throw out the nugget there. He did it, so I didn't have to. As he mentioned that, there's been a consecutive lap streak of caution-free laps. Now, I look at the history. Last season in September, this race had 0 cautions. I look at October of 2021, this race had 0 cautions. Now, in January, this race had 2 cautions, but you could also say that was the second race of the season. You would expect the first race with newcomers and stuff joining a league, there's going to be 1 or 2 cautions, but still, that 2 is a very low number. So is this kind of a prelude to what to expect tonight? Are we going to see more green flag racing?
I assume that we probably are. Most definitely, just the way it's later in the season, how everybody's been running, and like you said, the past 2 to 3 races have been green and no cautions, but earlier in the year it's been some caution. So I can see it going green the rest of the way for this whole race, but if the caution does happen, then it'll definitely make it interesting for everybody there.
Well, Braxton, we appreciate your time. We'll let you go, and best of luck there from the state next door.
I appreciate it, man. We're going to try our best here.
Absolutely. Braxton Luis, who is third in points right now officially, and he's going to go for that championship here this evening. We appreciate his time here. And let's see if any of the other playoff drivers are here. They are not, so maybe Mike Kelly. I'm sure he'll be here in the next few minutes. He will likely be here. And then obviously Stephen Miles, we'll see if he pops in the chat here momentarily. But right now it looks like those two are currently here right now. So let's do this. Let's actually give 811 a quick break here. We'll come back and get you more of a pre-race show, get you ready to race here on the Captain eSports Network.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
All right, back we are here at Homestead-Miami Speedway as we get you ready. The pre-race is on here from the championship track, basically. I know Phoenix is that track in real life, but let's put it like this. A lot of people wish that the championship races were here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Unfortunately, it's not anymore, and I'm hearing that they're actually going to get an early race next season on the schedule, which is a little disappointing, honestly, from a fan standpoint, but can totally understand. So let's do this. Let's go down here on the track right now as practice has been going on. Let's check out where some of the cars are hanging out, and there's Justin Fuller right there in the 55 car, as we'll put the timing and scoring up here on the board for you. Let's just see where everybody's running right now, as he is currently in the second position right now in practice. You're going to see the numbers up there in the green. He and Braxton Deweese right there on top of another, a 740 to a 743. Stephen Miles actually just started running laps. He's literally completed, about to complete his second lap on track. So he'll get his laps going, and still waiting on Mike Kelly to get in to the session. But this tonight, the longest you will see yet. So boy, the good news is you will not need a backup car or a tow truck. You can just simply hit escape and go back to pit road here on iRacing. But looking at the history of the race here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, as mentioned, this race back in 18 and 19 actually was a 100-lap race, and then extended out to 120 starting in 2020. And tonight going to be the first 130-lap race, as it extends out 10 more laps, which I think is going to eliminate the two-stop strategy, or the one-stop versus two-stop strategy tonight. I think it's going to be a straight-up two-stop race, unless cautions play out, which could be very tricky to see here tonight at this track. But as a matter of fact, let's do this, as he is hanging out with us. He's probably chatting with the guys, but let me bring up the guy who is fastest right now in the practice session, as we'll bring Dalton up here. Dalton obviously looking pretty good here in practice P1. Obviously figured it's a good opportunity for me to ask you, how's the track feeling? Fuel mileage, I don't think that's a factor tonight because of the extended race distance. But needless to say, this track got the tendency of green flag racing. We're going to see more of it tonight.
I hope so. Normally I'm pretty good on the long run here. If you really save, you may be able to one-stop it, but you're going to give up so much time saving, I don't think it's viable. So I'm looking at probably around 60 laps running normally for fuel. The qualifying lap track was a lot faster there in the beginning of the session, but that was still best lap I've ran so far, so I'm not sure you're going to see anybody back in the low sixes. Funny enough, I still have yet to win a pole here at Homestead in any of the E-Premier Series, so I'll probably end up go out there, maybe start in top 5 somewhere and just try to get into a good rhythm in the race.
Let's say you won this race in January. Is the car feel that good again?
I like January better. Hotter track temp, but back in January we were from 137 or so back in January, but 116 now, so the track's definitely got more grip in it tonight. I usually do better when I'm trying to save the right rear versus the right front, so it's got to change things a little bit. I'm more of a bottom feeder. I know a lot of guys like to run the middle and top here, so it'll be interesting to see which line ends up being the favorite as the race goes on.
Well, it should be a lot of fun here this evening. We appreciate your time. I guess one last question before I think about this. Are we going to see this track open up, or are we going to be feeding that bottom like you talked about?
I definitely think the very bottom and the middle is going to work, and I've never been one that can run the very top. I'm sure there's some guys out here that will make it work. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see it work, but I definitely think you'll see at least 2 lands on the bottom that's going to work.
Should be interesting, man. Wait, appreciate your time, bud.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Tyler Dalton, as he is going to go out here and try to do something he's never done before, as he said, win the pole at Homestead-Miami Speedway. So that should be interesting to see if he can pull that off. Appreciate his time. As always, he's got 2 minutes left in practice here. So appreciate Braxton and Fuller for their time, obviously, talking to them. Doesn't look like the other drivers got into Discord here, and I'm starting to wonder if Mike Kelly's even going to be here tonight. If not, then that's going to eliminate him out of the playoff race, unfortunately, which would kind of be a tough break. Would hate to see that. So he's got about 2 minutes plus qualifying to get in here for. So just trying to pull up some track record stuff here when it comes to qualifying. And from what I am seeing here, that's the old school car, it looks like, and then that's the old series. Is that we'll get it figured out here in a moment, but looks like I'm trying to get a track record for you guys here, but I'm kind of struggling with it. It looks like there's 2 records here. One is a 3079 by Daniel Falkingham 2019, but it doesn't show any of like the 2020 series, and then the other one is by Fuller, and that one's from 2018. So not sure stat-wise how that's all going to work out this tonight. So we'll just leave that one alone as we got a minute left here in practice. So let's go get ready for the race, shall we? As we'll step away real quick, come back, and get you ready for the start of this finale here from the Homestead-Miami Speedway.
When do you plan on putting in that new fence we've been talking about since last summer?
I guess I could start tomorrow.
Protect the ones you love and protect your buried utilities by contacting 811 before you dig, either by phone, the web, or the NC811 app. Know what's below before you dig. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
This isn't just a game. This is iRacing. Welcome back, Homestead-Miami Speedway, as we get you ready for the championship race. Practice is all over. Cars are on the track for qualifying, and as per usual, qualifying here tonight presented by NC811. Know what's below and call before you dig. We appreciate everything they have done for this Xfinity season. I haven't said anything really on the air about it. It's been mentioned a couple times, I think on Mondays. But tonight going to be the last race for the NC811 sponsorship on the Xfinity side. This is actually where it all started, was in the Xfinity Series when I first joined a couple years ago. NC811 came on board and took over this series, and we want to say thank you to Ann and everybody at NC811.org and appreciate their support helping Joey out and putting the series all together. So big shout out to those guys as they are here one last race. They'll finish out the Cup Series, of course, on Monday nights. As qualifying underway, as you're watching Justin Fuller out there on the track right now. Let's see what he can do in this number 55. And across the start-finish line he goes. And he will set the first mark, I believe, here, as he is currently sixth with a 34.55. Robert Friery, 34.06, the pole sitter right now. Stephen Miles, second. Schweikert and Rivera, your top three. Let's actually jump to Schweikert because he's looking pretty good here off of turn number 4. And across the start-finish line, John Schweikert jumps to, well, the pole for literally a half a second. And Jose Gonzalez took it over at a 34.014 second lap. Fuller's all the way down in 10th. Here's Miles across the line. As Fuller goes 33.95. There's a pole lap. Well, he said, boys, get yourself some of that. Tommy Ryan up to second. Jose Gonzalez third right now as Chad Coleman slots into the 5th position. It's Braxton Deweese to the pole, 33.88. As he outruns Wesley Donaldson, who runs a 92. So that's 4 drivers now in the 90s. Here's Jason Karlovage, the 60. And he put himself on the pole. What about Van Schaik? As Tyler Dalton, still unfortunately without a pole here at Homestead, is at the kryptonite to the 19 car. As Karlovage, 35.54 in his first lap. And look, I ripped the boards, which means this lap's going to be a lot faster. Down the back straightaway he goes. And he's going to bring it off of turn 4 to the start-finish line. Very windy corners here. Shorter straightaways, which means a lot of speed loss in the corners. 33.96. He goes P4. And the only other car out here on track right now is this 43 of Joe Hudson. So it's either going to be Joe Hudson or Braxton Deweese on the pole here. He's got a minute left, and unfortunately still no Mike Kelly here. So unfortunately, that's going to be tough. I hate that for Mike. Now, just to put it out there really quickly, as Hudson's 20th on the first lap, 34.43. There are still 4 other drivers in the running, technically, for the championship, but those 4 drivers are so far back that they're battling amongst themselves, basically 5th through 8th. So I do want to make sure those drivers are still mentioned, or still at least respected and stuff when it comes to making the championship 8 here tonight. But it's going to be mainly the 4 that are still eligible to win the championship. Those 4, their numbers will be in the green as we go racing here tonight. As Hudson crosses the line, he is going to be short of the pole, and Braxton Deweese will win the pole here for the finale, which could be the first strike. He said that track position was going to be huge, and that 5 car puts himself on the pole here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, presented by 811. Know it's below and call before you dig. National anthem time. Let's go trackside.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, back we are at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. As once again, I kind of forgot about the whole 5-minute warm-up deal. It happened again this week. Oh man, welcome in as we get ready to go racing. A little bit more of a pre-race show here on the Captain eSports Network. But obviously, again, as I mentioned, big shout out to all the viewers here watching here this evening, and looking forward to a fun race coming up here in just a few moments. And I wonder if he's still in chat here. Let me slide up through the channels here and see through. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see the two of Mike Kelly tonight. That's unfortunate. So, Pulsitter's still hanging out here in Discord, though, with us. So, let's pull him back up here. Braxton, man, you got to be pretty excited. That was a pretty sporty lap. I was giving him a second here to see if he'd respond, but maybe he's focused. He's ready to go. So we'll leave him alone and let him get ready to go racing here tonight. But let's move him back to his Hammer channel here, wherever he was.
You got me?
Oh, there he is. Okay. Yeah. I thought I was like, you might have
Sorry,
walked
I was
away.
late to the party.
Uh-oh. That microphone sounded great.
Yes, I know. I hopefully if there's any winnings, if you get a championship, and if I win the championship, that'll go towards a new headset.
Hey, I got a guy that I might know. Hey, Dad, can you go buy him a headset? I mean, it's not. No. But no. Obviously, that pole, great lap.
Thank you.
So now that pressure's off, and now you get to lead the green lead the field to the green flag. So, what do you got to do to hold him off now?
Make sure we clear them into one or over, and make sure we lead the first lap so we get that extra bonus point. Just try to stay out front with clean air and use it to our advantage, and just set sail and see what we can do.
There you go, man. Well, hey, best of luck. I know you got to get ready, so you got about a minute, so go get them.
I appreciate you, Chris.
Yes, sir. As Braxton Luis, the pole sitter here tonight, and we are going to start a GoFundMe after this race for a microphone for him. And, yeah. The other part of me is kind of saying in my head right now, maybe I should just go grab my other headset that I have here and just drive over to his hometown and be like, here, take it. But either way, congratulations to him, as the warm-up here is about 45 minutes or so from being complete. Let's show you the point standings again for those who just joined us. I know it's kind of small, but Justin Fuller, of course, leads by 2 over Mike Kelly and Braxton Deweese. But, again, Mike Kelly is not here tonight, unfortunately, so it looks like his championship run is going to be over. So it looks like it'll be between Braxton Deweese and Mike Fuller and Stephen Miles for the championship. And obviously Kelly will fall to at least 4th, if not further down now. Let me peek over here at the championship battle amongst the other guys that are in this. Because like I said, this is actually an 8-person battle for the championship. But the other 4 drivers were so far back that I've kind of turned the points to the 4. But when you look down here, Scott Simley, who is in here, he's 33 points back. So, I mean, he probably will not catch Mike Kelly. So it looks like Kelly will finish 4th. Kevin Brown is in 6th. Anthony Calantoni and Mac McMillan. McMillan's not even here tonight. So, unfortunately, he'll finish likely 8th in the points, and so on and so forth. So that is where we sit right now, entering the race here this evening, as we officially will grid right now and let you get you ready here for the finale from the Homestead at Miami Speedway, as the cars are on pit road. And we are going to show you the starting lineup. It looks like 25 cars getting ready to go here for the finale here from a track that was built on a mill after the mill unfortunately wiped out by a hurricane I was kind of part of. Hurricane Andrew, 1992. As a matter of fact, the ironic here. I just looked at the date. 32 years ago yesterday, Hurricane Andrew hit land. I literally looked over. It's like August 25th. August 24th, 1992 was Hurricane Andrew making landfall in this spot right here, Homestead-Miami, Florida. And this track built after that storm. There you go. Piece of history for you. Braxton Deweese on the pole alongside Wesley Donaldson on the outside of row 1. Row 2, Justin Fuller, Jason Karlovage. Row 3, Tommy Ryan, Jose Gonzalez. Jose's got a win here at Homestead. John Schweiker, Chad Coleman in row 4. Tyler Dalton, Stephen Miles in row number 5. Row 6, Robert Friery, who got himself a win earlier this season at the Milwaukee Mile and did not dislocate his shoulder celebrating. Bob Gillenwater there in row 6. Joe Hudson, Kevin Brown, row 7. Charles Van Schaik, William Kemp in row 8, row 9, Anthony Calantoni and Jeff Ryan. Bobby Wetzel, Nelson Rivera, row 10, row 11, Josh Parker, Randy Oakham. Brian Wortman and Mark Schrader, 23rd and 24th. Gerald Livingston, the 25th starter here on the track as the field rolling into turn 3 and 4. Or, sorry, 1 and 2. 130 laps here tonight. Extended 10 laps. Likely, and I say I'm about 99% sure this will be a 4-stop race or a 2-stop race here tonight, as this is race 4 of the championship, not race number 3. The championship race here tonight at Homestead-Miami Speedway in the usual iRacing default weather, but it's going to get slick. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch here. As appreciate all the viewers who have hung out with us for all 28 races here this season. It is going to be a fun one. It's not an official win and you're the championship type of race, but it pretty much is when it's over with here tonight because the points are so tight. As Braxton Deweese and Wesley Donaldson lead them to the green flag at Homestead, the finale is green. And our camera is presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on the iRacing forums and at their website at TrackCams22.com. As quickly you see a couple cars getting out of shape. Car Lavage had to go catch her a little bit there in the middle of 1 and 2 as they're side by side. Fuller already up to second, trying to get around Donaldson as Deweese trying to lead the lap. Fuller trying to keep him from leading that lap. And as Fuller, they'll wreck each other out of the championship now as Deweese does lead the lap. And just like that, the points are actually now 1 separating the two. Now what Braxton's got to do is try to keep Fuller from leading as they lean on each other at lap 2. Easy, boys. And Fuller is going to lead a lap this time by, and well, now it's back to 3. So back to status quo. If I'm Braxton, just back off now. I mean, yeah, you want to lead the most laps, but you don't want to lose the race here. And Fuller's pushing him up the track, trying to give himself room. Oh, John Schweikert, hang on. Catch by the 1. I mean, it's the old quote about short track racing, or even on a track like this, you pinch, you pay, I believe is how it goes. So Braxton got to be careful here. Now he gives himself plenty of room. Looks like he just kind of pushed up the track there and see if Fuller can clear him, but not yet. I mean, this is for the lead on lap 4. And Fuller, who said this is not his best track, he might be playing a poker face on me. Wouldn't be the first driver to do that. And clears him. I mean, Braxton took a beacon there. Fuller said, no sit for you. And now we're finally actually getting some separation here amongst the front 2 cars. That's quite the way to start a race, I'd say, huh? Fuller out 0.2 of a second already here on Deweese. You wonder if he's trying to back it off now, maybe trip those tires a little bit there early in this race. You want to go as far as you can go, but the strategy here, you got to think about with this 10 extra laps now, 130 in this race instead of the 120 that you've seen at the other mile and a half tracks this postseason. You kind of wonder here, do you just split the 130 in 3s? In that case, what is it, 45? No, it's 45 would be 90. It'd be about 42 and a half laps or so when you do the simple math. Back here, William Kemp starting to climb the top side here. Kevin Brown down there on the bottom. Bob Gillenwater also there. You see Stephen Miles right there in front of them in the 11th position. Make that 9th position for Miles as he's up a position so far. Coleman's fallen back 2. Wesley Donaldson was going to put some pressure here on the 5. The 91, the 99 of Tommy Ryan, the 9 of Tyler Dalton is a track that's normally spreading out. Everybody has got their Bob Ross going right now, painting that bottom. Could you imagine if, like, Bob Ross called a NASCAR race? How cool that would be. All right, guys. Neck and neck. The 5 of Braxton DeWeese leading Wesley Donaldson. Oh, he hit him with his fender. That's a happy accident. He's got to just brush him off here a little bit. He should be okay. That'd be so awesome to watch. It'd be like the most relaxing race in the world. Anyways, as Fuller pulls away, and then you had 6 cars who have broken away from the 8th place Jason Karlovage. And Dalton looks like going to climb the top side here, as he battles with Tommy Ryan in a 99 car. I mean, Tyler talked about the middle lane potentially being something to work with here. This track, progressive banking, 18 to 20 degrees from the bottom to the top. Very wide, obviously sweeping corners. Straightaways a little bit shorter. And with the radius of the corner, obviously a lot of off-throttle speed. The slowest corners you'll find on any mile-and-a-half track in racing. And that's where you see the lap times all the way down here in the 34-second bracket. When you go to, like, a track, say, Texas or Charlotte, something like that, you get the 29, 30, 31-second laps. Robert Friary back here with Chad Coleman, Bob Gillenwater, Kevin DeBrown. This is the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th positions all right here in this pile of cars. Not really any big movers in this race per se. Tyler Dalton is probably your biggest mover here, as he finally clears Tommy Ryan and up 4 positions as he's making that middle group kind of work here as he goes to the outside now of Wesley Donaldson, the winner here from January. I thought it was going to be a race this season that kind of put Tyler on the map, but it's been the only victory he's had this season. He's had a good year, but unfortunately that first round of the playoffs kind of hurt him with the couple mistakes he made, including that speeding penalty in the last race of the first round. Officially was the TKO punch to the 9 car. Or 19 car, if you will. It's normally 19, but he's been running the 9 here the last few weeks, paying tribute to his dad. Go back here. A battle here between the actual number 9, Bobby Wetzel, and 8 of Randy Oakham. The Virginia 811 colors on that number 8 car. And the 9 of Bobby Wetzel with he's got the Lumina nose and everything on that thing. That's impressive. The Rowdy Barnes going here. Look at that, the Chevy Lumina nose and everything on there. Very impressive. Climbing the bank in there, sliding up the track. Tires have already fallen off a full second. Let's go back here. It's Tommy Ryan now trying to hold off Jose Gonzalez, who's trying to pass on the top side. Say the top side, the middle groove, I guess, per se. And Jose gonna try here in turn 1. He's getting a better run off the corner. We appreciate the viewers here watching this evening. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, we appreciate you coming back to hang out here on the Captain eSports Network. As Jose clears Tommy for position. Kevin DeBrown making moves now inside of Bob Gilwaters for 13th. And Kevin makes the pass. Joe Hudson there behind them. So if you want to know what is going to be the plans for Sim500 when it comes to the winter time or early fall in the winter for Sim500 here on Sunday nights, you can actually check out sim500.com and get on their website, get signed up, because there's going to be a lot of racing coming up. They like to run series during the off season and stuff here too, and I kind of have an understanding, and I've heard what they might be doing on Sunday, and it's definitely going to be something different, put it like that. And it should be a lot of fun to see. So I would definitely go get a part of the Sim500 League, so that when the announcement is made of what they're doing, you will have full knowledge and be ready to rock and roll and have some fun and be a part of a great series full of good guys, good racers. And be prepared for next January when the 2025 season kicks off. Robert Friery, 11th position right here behind the 24, Stephen Miles. Everybody is not fairly separated out, but it's about a tenth or more amongst all the cars here. So you're not really getting that side-by-side battle until I say that. And here's Wesley Donaldson now pretty much sitting on the bumper of Tyler Alton for third. These guys kind of pacing themselves here, I think, early in this race. It looks like the 91 is cleared, but look back here now. I say that. Here comes John Schweikert. He's starting to get up there towards the boards. As Tommy's trying to get to the top side on Gonzalez. We'll see what kind of run the one gets here down the back straightaway. Yeah, obviously with help of the draft there. Laps complete here. Justin Fuller's led the most here so far. Deweese didn't lead a lap. So right now it's kind of balanced out, and I guess you can go ahead and hypothetically right now throw a bonus point at Fuller as he's led the most laps in the race. So technically it is now a 3-point advantage from him to Deweese, not to mention he's a position ahead. So let's throw another one in there. 4th position, 4 points from Fuller back to Deweese right now, and of course Stephen Miles back in 10th right now. Would finish 3rd in points, so Schweikert starting to bring some guys up there with him. Now the one thing about this top side, depending on how much rubber there is in the track, it's going to eat up the tires. You know, think of it, you get a new patch of pavement and you run the tires on it and it's grippy, right? So out of this track that really has no grip in it, there's not a bunch of rubber. It's sitting in the cracks and crevices of the track. So it actually has a little bit of grip to it. So you get up there in that top side and all of a sudden, well, your tires are wearing out a lot quicker. So a bit of science involved there. But it's one thing you hope for Schweikert, for Tommy Ryan, these guys, they don't wear their tires out running up there on the top side right now. As Schweikert looks at the inside of Gonzalez here for the 5th position. Tommy Ryan starting to climb the boards. There's Gonzalez sitting right on that right rear of John. All this does is pull the one car back and get him loose. Easy now. likely a tight loose on that slide or something there, but he's going to end up losing a spot from that. And now it's to cool his tires down. So the one unfortunately falling back, but a great battle here for the 5th, 6th, 7th positions. As Fuller still leads by about 0.4 of a second over Braxton DeWeese, who's got 1.3 over Wesley Donaldson, who's 0.6 over Dalton, and Dalton with about 0.6 over this battle for 5th. First through 20th out of the 25 cars, all within 2 seconds of each other. And the biggest gap being this gap right here between 2nd and 3rd. Otherwise, everybody is fairly close together still with the way the draft works. The fixed setup, which means everybody's running the same thing. And for those who don't know, on a fixed setup on iRacing, there's 3 things you can adjust. The brake bias, your steering ratio, which means how quick your wheel reacts to turning, and your offset, which pretty much is the where the tape would be set pretty much on your wheel. So if your tape is sitting straight up, you're at usually a +0, depending on how you got your setup working. And then just think of it like a clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever. That's your offset, so on and so forth. But most of these setups in these cars have a different offset. So like 0 is actually like the 11 o'clock mark or whatever, or vice versa. All right, let's go back here. It's Kevin Brown and Bob Gilwater going at it again. Josh Parker there behind him. 13th, 14th, 15th positions here. Starting to see a couple of cars, about 3 or 4 right now, merging up to the top. Haven't really seen, and Bob gets a little loose there off the corner. Haven't really seen it yet fully work, but I do see some progress happening with it. Lap time's off about almost 2 seconds now, about 1 3/4 or so. Bob Gilmore, been a while since we've seen him in victory lane. As a matter of fact, he is one of the rare full-timers since the captain took over 3 years ago that has not gone to victory lane in this series. And I hate that because Bob's one of the nicest guys you can talk to. So, we have our first pit stops. William Kep pulls off. And he is going to come to pit road in the A game, number 09. And something tells me this is a planned stop. If so, this means it's going to be likely, let's see, 100 laps. So you're going to split it. I would assume he's going to do 2 more stops. Unless he's going to run this thing out, which would go 60 to 90 to 50, maybe 50-50. We'll have to see when William does here and keep track of it. But there goes D09 pulling away. So the first of the altering strategies happening now. As Ryan works his way back past Tyler Dalton. John Schweikert starting to work that top side here. If you're one that likes to use intervals of 0 for your lap numbers when you come to pit road, then I would expect the leaders and everybody to start pitting at lap 40. However, we don't know who the leader is going to be at lap 40 because Braxton has caught Fuller. And the battle is on officially for the lead here. Schweikert has gone by Tyler Dalton for 5th. Karlovaj has passed Gonzalez for 7th. as we watch the fight here. Right on board with Braxton. And look how slow. 125 miles an hour through the corner now. I mean, that's some just ridiculous loss of speed through these corners. I mean, you're almost stopping the car through the corner. Fuller doing a good job of kind of running his own lane, taking the lane away from him right now. Oh, now both of them getting loose easy now. I'm having flashbacks to, what was it, 2009? The ARCA series where, I know Scott Speed was one driver. Was it Allgaier was the other one? No. Who was the other? Parker Kligerman? I can't remember who the other driver was. The second driver, they pretty much wiped each other out. And I think Allgaier won the championship, if I think about it now. Or is it Chris Buescher, maybe? I can't remember. Come back here while these guys settle down for a second. Tyler Dalton starting to fall back. Here's Car Lavage. A pretty fast number 60 car. Jason winning at Charlotte just a couple weeks ago. And going to move up to the 6th position right now. As let's go back to it. Here's action trying to catch Fuller off guard. Fuller had to slide up. That's literally, I mean, Fuller's doing what you're calling aero blocking right now. He's trying to use the aero of the car, but unfortunately these tires are so slick, he had to try to hold on. And Braxton DeWeese is going to get the lead, but here come the 4 fuel goods of William Kempf, and there's contact between the 5 and 05. Not sure if Fuller just got in there too deep or if Braxton had to kind of park it a little bit there just to catch his car. As Joe Hudson comes to pit road. And all right, let's settle down for a minute. So we're going to step away, get a break, and come back for the pit stops here in just a moment on the Captain eSports Network.
What a nice day to install my new mailbox.
Hi there, friend. I'm Dig Safely Man. My job is to ensure you call 811 before you dig.
Why do I need to do that?
Vital utilities like natural gas and electric run just beneath the Earth's surface. Damaging them can cause service interruption, environmental hazards, or personal injury.
I thought only contractors had to call before they dig, so homeowners do too.
Call 3 business days before you dig unless you have x-ray vision. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
All right, back we are here, 39 laps complete at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Braxton Deweese took the lead, and he has said bon voyage to the 55 of Justin Fuller. He's got a 9/10 of a second lead just like that. And I want to go check the front bumper of the 55 to see if any damage, and I don't see any. So I was wondering right away after that contact, would there be any damage to the car, but I don't see any. And you wonder if Fuller maybe has burned up his tires a little bit there, because you see Tommy Ryan is coming up behind him now for the 2nd position. Back here, Tyler Dalton under attack. Jose Gonzalez going by for 7th. I mean, some of these guys free falling right now might want to make that move to pit road here. And I'm not seeing it yet. I mean, you pit here at 41 or 42. You can go to lap 84. And then from 84, it's another do the math here, 42.84. It actually gets you to 126, so actually you want to go a little longer. So I've got the math wrong a little bit, but we'll get there. Go 44, then you get to 88, and that gets you to 132. So there you go. So 43 laps would be the number. Yes, here's Tommy outside of, oh, hold on, Tommy. He had to jump out of her. A lot of action as you're starting to see the comers and goers now. It's John Schweikert and Jose Gonzalez battle here for the 6th position. Back here, Nelson Rivera starting to make moves in the 14th position. And we're starting to see these battles now as people wear out their tires. As there goes to 60 by for 4th. Karlovaj, definitely a pretty good long run car, is now in the battle for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Steven Miles right there with him. As Jeff Ryan has come to pit road. And John Schweikert's going to come to pit road, so here we go with the off strategy. As Fuller goes for a slide. And we'll lose that 2nd position. If his tires aren't worn now, that right rear's screaming at him. Schweiker going to lead the pits as Fuller now trying to hold off John Schweikert. Now, unfortunately, I do not have the technology that allows me to like do a points as they run type of thing or anything like that. Unfortunately, it just doesn't exist unless you have good coding. And I can barely give you a code to a lock, let alone coding to a computer. As Kevin Brown and Robert Fryery come to pit road. So with that said, the simple math here really quickly is obviously Fuller has led the most laps. Calantoni's on pit road now too. Braxton's led a lap, so that's 2-1. And it was a 2-point advantage. So right now, it's Braxton DeWeese leading by 1 over Justin Fuller. Simple math. Right there. But obviously, things can happen. But obviously, if these guys have not pitted yet, something tells me they are going to go as long as they can here. If not, maybe lap number 50 is the number. Randy Yoakum's on pit road, and Randy Yoakum has got some issues here as he has spun it over here at the entry of pit road over onto the road course section. Coming out of the second part of the infield right there. Thankfully, he didn't hit that tire because that thing doesn't move. And I'm not talking about these two right here. I'm talking about the one over on the road course. Ask me how I know. As Yoakum brings the 8 on the pit road. As Mark Schrader pits with him, Wesley Donaldson and Fuller now. As they get closer to each other, Fuller is hanging on. Here's Tommy Ryan to pit road. And I mean, Fuller, I mean, that car is just sliding everywhere right now. Even down the straightaway, he's trying to hold on to her. As the leaders come to pit road, Braxton DeWeese, Jason Karlovage, Wesley Donaldson all come to pit road here at lap number 49. It should be everybody 4 tires and fuel for all 4 of these cars, and you wonder if Fuller's going to be behind him, or is he going to change up his strategy here a little bit. But the way that right rear is driving for the 55, I'm going to be quickly on pit road if I can. And here he comes. Fuller is in. Oh, and he... My gosh! Full lock and everything on pit road. Right side tires and fuel for the 55. And somehow he got that thing down to speed. And pulls away. How about that? I mean, he got everything out of that car coming to pit road. I mean, watch this. He brings it all the way down from the top side, which gets you a little bit of a run. Locks it down, turns her sideways, and gets it in there at speed. So that hands the lead over to Jose Gonzalez, and, well, what do you know? You go back to that race at Vegas. You had Jose Gonzalez, you had Steven Miles, Nelson Rivera. Those guys save fuel and be able to do it on one stop. Now, can they do it tonight on one stop? Not likely. But I've been proven wrong many times. You heard Tyler Dalton say when I asked him that question, he said, you're going to lose so much speed trying this move. 36.70 right now. And I look back here at the leaders running, or the previous leaders running 34.70s, 34.60s. So 2 seconds. They're gaining every lap here on Jose. As we put up the track map and show you where everybody is. Jose coming through 3 and 4 here in the 26 car. And William Kemp is actually the first one on tires, as he actually pitted at lap 29. And then you go all the way back here to the 1 of John Schweikert. It's in 3 and 4. And then there's Tommy Ryan, Braxton DeWeese, and those guys right here coming through 3 and 4 right now. That just shows you where everybody is on the track right now, relatively. As here comes Gillen Water to the inside. Unlaps himself. If I'm seeing this right, we got about 20 cars now on the lead lap officially. And nobody's gone behind the wall at all. Everybody's still on track here in the 25 starters. Miles trying to chase him down there in that 24 car. Josh Parker behind Miles by about 9/10 of a second. Charles Van Schaik back there in the 4th position. Bobby Wetzel 5th. As Parker's going to bring it down to pit road. That'll be 4 tires and fuel for the 81. Go back here because there's Braxton and right behind Robert Friery now. Robert pitted 4 laps before Braxton. That just shows you the time difference between new and old tires. You see the 99 of Tommy Ryan up there in front of Robert, the 60 of Karlovage behind him. So he will not be the leader of the race when he when everybody finally pits here, but he should be pretty close to the lead as these guys should funnel back together like an accordion. As the newer tires should eventually prevail if they have preserved enough. Ryan Wortman, another car that has stayed out so far. He's getting past 4th position there in that purple car as Ryan goes by, and also the 77 of Friary. And Braxton goes by too, so I wonder if Wortman might be coming to pit road this time by. That makes this fun. All the strategy that these cars have to do in a just shy of 200-mile race here tonight. These are already 5 laps from the halfway point this time by. And if Jose and Miles and Van Schaik and Wetzel can make it to lap 65 on a tank of fuel, we might have ourselves a story on our hands. Joe Hudson, 10th positioner, gets a little loose there in front of Carl Lavage. As Deweese and Tommy Ryan now swap positions. So you see Braxton's been able to get by the 77 and the 99 here in the last couple of laps. All right, Stephen Miles to pit road, lap 62. So he obviously is just trying to play the opposite of the other cars, go as long as he can on tires. And Gonzalez there behind him. Van Schaik coming in there with him, and that's going to hand the lead to Bobby Wetzel. So the obviously question here is, can they make it the rest of the way? No, they cannot, because they're going to have to go 67 laps now to the finish of the race. They couldn't even go 63. So what they're going to try to do, obviously, is get a caution. That's what they want. They want to try to get a yellow late in this race and try to cycle the field around like a Yahtzee can. And even right now, if they were to get a yellow as they just come off pit road, it might bring these others to pit road and give them the track position. But is it a risk? Yes, it is. But if the break happens, it's definitely a big reward when it's over with. So John Schweiker now officially the leader. He was not the first to pit road during that cycle, but he's obviously gone past William Kemp, who pitted at lap 29. He is second. We'll roar through the field here a little bit. Bobby Wetzel, he is still yet to pit. He's going to be coming right now in the Rowdy Burns machine. Braxton Deweese running in third. Tommy Ryan right there behind him in fourth. Wesley Donaldson now up to the 5th position. Now Wesley and Braxton both pitted at 49, Tommy at 48. Jason Karlovage in the 6th position. Robert Friary to 3rd, 7th. Chad Coleman there in the 8th position. Justin Fuller pitted at lap 50. He is 9th now. And Tyler Dalton in 10th. Kevin Brown, 11th position for him. 12th to Joe Hudson there in that 43 car. Bob Gillenwater, 13th position. Anthony Calantoni there in the 14th position in the Talking Giants 84 car. Mark Schrader at 15th. Gerald Livingston, 16th position for the 96 car. Nelson Rivera actually battling with Jeff Ryan right now for 7th. As Jeff Ryan right there outside in the 3 car. Josh Parker in the, well, change that. Stephen Miles now in the 19th position as he just passed Josh Parker. Now Miles going to have the freshest tires out of the bunch here as he'll start trying to make up track position here. And that'll be another advantage that he'll have here pitting later is he'll have tires to work with. Josh Parker 20th. Jose Gonzalez, he has even later tires than Stephen Miles. He's 21st. Randy Oakham 22nd. Charles Van Schaik 23rd. Brian Wortman in the 24th position. And now Bobby Wetzel in 25th with the freshest tires of everybody. As he came to pit road there. There are officially 23 cars on the lead lap out of the 25. In this race, all 25 cars are currently running still at the halfway point here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, the finale of the Xfinity Series presented by NC811. We appreciate everybody for joining us here on the Captain Esports Network. Hopefully you are enjoying your broadcast. As per always, we appreciate all the viewers for coming to hang out here tonight. If you're a new viewer, if you're a viewer who's been here many of times, I don't care. It's awesome. I appreciate it very much. Just know that. And hopefully you're enjoying the race here this evening. We're going to step away, get another break in. We'll come back and get you more racing here as we're just past the halfway point at Homestead on the Captain Esports Network.
This tree is going to look great here.
Did you call 811 to protect your underground utilities?
I can't wait to see these roses come up.
Dig, dig, dig! Wait, we forgot to call 811.
Before you dig, make sure you can. Call 811 to know what's below. It's up to all of us to protect the ones we love.
All right, back here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, 69 laps going to be completed right now as John Schweikert leads this race, and you see the battle for second as Tommy Ryan is getting back around Braxton DeWeese there for position. As we got this battle going on, then there was a battle back here between Kemp and Fuller. Fuller looks like he's cleared himself up to the 7th position, but I'm starting to see a potential, and I'm using the word potential here for this. Another situation that is coming up here a little bit that I'm catching on to, and I'm going to bring it up here in just a moment. Oh, Tommy getting up there in a Homestead stripe. That'll finish that off, and there goes Braxton to the position. So, basically, I go back to the 16th position right now. Here's Stephen Miles. Miles, obviously, is the guy that's 10 points behind, and is going to need all the help he can to be able to catch Fuller and DeWeese to get the championship. Now, he's in the running still. He pitted at lap 61, which is 12 to 13 laps later than everybody, so he takes the 15th position. His current lap times right now are about 1 to almost 1.5 seconds faster than everybody. As he pitted that much later in the field, he has already made up 6 positions in just a couple of laps. So the question is here is how much can Miles make up here with these tires, especially if he doesn't pit again until later on in this race. Say if he goes to lap 110 maybe or so before coming to pit road for tires. That could make things very interesting here. Just something to look at as we now have a 3-car battle for the lead. As Schweikert, Tommy Ryan, and Braxton DeWeese battle for it. DeWeese painting the line at the bottom. The other two painting the line at the top. Braxton all but there, but Schweikert fighting on that top side, getting a little free, and Braxton clears him. So DeWeese to the front, lap 72. As Tommy Ryan going to move to second. Wesley Donaldson quickly approaching here in the 4th position. As you see the field I talked about earlier, how the accordion back in. And that's what you're seeing right now. The accordion coming back into play is saw William Kemp come to pit road. Now Josh Parker on pit road. So here's the interesting part. This is where it really gets weird with the racing right now. So you see Deweese up here in front, Tommy Ryan second. You see the battle for third going on. Now we look at the battle back here. Bobby Wetzel in that 9 car, that Exxon car. He and Brian Wortman pitted later in this run. They pitted at lap 58 and 64, respectively, and have newer tires than these leaders, right? So this is that awkward moment where the leaders are actually being caught by the 2 cars a lap down. And here's Wetzel making moves. And then here's Brian Wortman back here making moves. Now, unfortunately, it looks like Josh Parker is having, I don't know if he's withdrawn from the race or whatnot, so we are going to have our first guy, it looks like, out of the race here officially at the 75 lap mark. I would expect all these guys to pit right around lap 100. Just like they did in that cycle, pitting at lap 50. We've already seen William Kemp come to the pit road. He'll have to make one more stop and 3-stop this thing. Axton got to be very careful here, Bobby. A lap down. Obviously, he's caught him from ways back. Like I said, this might be one of those things, just let him go. And that's what it looks like he does. And now Tommy Ryan's going to rip the boards here and get a pretty good run down the front straightaway. We look over there at the 99 top sign here. Let's see if we can get the run if Braxton gives him the room. Now, the one thing Braxton does need to do right now is lead as many laps as possible, because obviously Fuller led a lot of laps early in this race and is only in the 5th position right now. So he is right there, still in this picture, believe it or not. As Tommy up against the outside wall again. Pushed it too hard. Go back here, Tyler Dalton, Chad Coleman for the 7th position. As these guys calm down here for a second, so field really stretched out here a little bit now. You get the tires starting to wear in now after the pit stops the first round. And Tommy Ryan obviously been up against the wall a couple of times. Just check back here on Fuller. As Justin kind of out here a little bit on his own, as he is, I'm seeing there 1 second or so behind Jason Karlovage. And then Wesley Donaldson about a half second in front of them. You see him just sawing on that wheel. We got an opportunity to want to send a shout out to MC Racing, of course, here in Fort Wayne. Stopped by there yesterday and hearing about all the good news going on. There's a little festival there downtown. Hopefully people got in there to check out the sim racing atmosphere that he has. Of course, he's doing everything he can to stream the races you're seeing here on the Captain eSports Network there in his building, especially those who swing on by. He was showing off his little drift track that he has in the waiting room, believe it or not. So how about that? You go into you go in there and run a sim race, and if you're in the waiting room waiting on a sim to open up, you go run these little RC cars that drift. You can't go wrong with that, right? Pretty cool deal. Big shout out to mcracing.com and Mark there for the awesome job he's doing for the city of Fort Wayne, where I'm at, and Obviously, some people who love racing love to swing in there, and you can too if you're coming by the area. If you're heading out to Lima Land maybe for a dirt race, which is right down the road, or right to Eldora, or I mean, heck, even the short tracks in the area, Winchester, Anderson. If you're just swinging through, going wherever it may be, even for football season, stop in and run some races there at MC Racing in Fort Wayne. So appreciate what Mark does. Fuller still a second back from Karlovage for position. Let's check Wesley Donaldson out because he's got about a 10th on Karlovage. Jason up there on that top side right now. Tommy Ryan right here ahead of him. These guys kind of stay in single file right now. Let's go back here and check on Stephen Miles because he is now going into the top 10. As he continues his march to the front. He is 14 seconds behind, and his times have kind of leveled off with the leaders now. But obviously trying a different strategy and doing everything he can to put himself in the championship hunt here. As Joe Hudson's come to pit road. Kevin Brown's come to pit road. John Schweikert was on pit road. All this right here at lap 85. Which is in the window for them to make it the rest of the way. Just want to say hello again to all the viewers here watching tonight. Thank you for hanging out and watching the Xfinity Series race here from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. And also want to send a thanks. I know some of you guys watch the Cup Series on Monday nights, which, by the way, tomorrow will be back in action again. So hopefully you can come join us as we race at... I want to say, are we at Daytona tomorrow night? I've all of a sudden lost in my head where we are tomorrow night. I've been so focused on the Xfinity Championship. Click over here on the schedule for the Cup Series. We are at Daytona tomorrow night, so 100 laps there under the lights likely at Daytona. Should be a lot of fun after the actual Cup race last night. But sending a shout out last week. I know it wasn't the prettiest of races for the Cup side of things, but last week's race, one of the highest viewed races in Sim500 history for the Captain eSports Network. That race at Michigan that ended up going to overtime and won by Charles Van Schaik, his first win in the Cup Series. So Kevin and I will be at Daytona tomorrow night. Looking forward to what the Cup Series brings to Daytona. So Braxton Deweese 1.9, make that 2 seconds now, the leader over Jason Karlovage, who has moved to the second position. He has passed both Wesley Donaldson and Tommy Ryan, but he is not the only one. As here comes Justin Fuller, who has now moved up to the fourth position. And right now, this race would the points championship is tied. I believe here. I'm just doing the math real quickly in my head because I know they're real close in the most laps led now. That'd be 2-1, which would gain a point back. Actually, no, it'd be Braxton by 3 points right now. So I stand corrected on that one. Basically, if Braxton would lead the rest of the way and win this race, he would win the championship from the bonus points and stuff. Because you do get a bonus for winning also. As Fuller goes by Tommy Ryan for third. Could you imagine 40 laps from now it coming down to these two guys, which could be arguably the fastest and the most consistent, running for a championship at the end here? In a race that's not even a win in championship format. So Chad Coleman, Robert Friery, and Nelson Rivera have come to pit road at lap 90. So these guys obviously are splitting the race 50 and 40. And here comes Braxton DeWeese to pit road. He's bringing Karlovage with him. And Tommy Ryan, as Fuller's going to inherit the lead now. So these guys obviously going to split at 50-40. Four tires and fuel for the 5. And he pulls away 14.8. Matter of fact, 3 14.8s. How about that? Karlovage and Tommy Ryan, good laps there as Fuller stays out another lap here. As he sees DeWeese right in front of him. How slow are the lap times here right now? Braxton actually just stayed on the lead lap. Him and Karlovage are still on the lead lap after that pit stop. And now Tommy Ryan's going to go by. So the lap times are so slow here now with the worn out tires. I mean, you're able to pit and come off pit road and still be on the lead lap if you're close enough to the front. As Bob Gillenwater comes to pit road. Another lap, Fuller stays out. Obviously, Justin trying to kind of put a couple laps in the bank here so he can bring fresher tires out. But how far is too far here? As here comes Dalton to pit road. Now he's going to get split 3 wide. You know, you wonder if he's going to go to lap 100, which would be exactly another 50 laps on the tires, and he go 30 the rest of the way. Here's Braxton out of turn 4. And Fuller's coming to pit road now. Lap number 95 to 96 locks it up again as he is getting everything out of that car. Seeing Wesley Donaldson pit. And Stephen Miles inherits the lead now by 5 seconds over Jose Gonzalez. So we'll see where they get out here on track with each other. It looks like it's actually be a pretty good sizable lead here. Difference is, though, now you're looking at about 5 lap newer tires from Fuller to DeWeese, and you wonder, can that make up this time? My math is serving me correct here, and I'm seeing this on the screen. It's 11 seconds separating Fuller from DeWeese. You see Stephen Miles now. He is up front. He pitted at lap 61. So he should be able to go to lap 122 if he wanted to. And honestly, he has nothing to lose here. He is in third in points. He is likely finishing third in points, unless something happens to win first and second. Obviously, unfortunately, Kelly's not here. So what does he have to lose here? Nothing. I would run this thing until it's bone dry. If he can get the caution in about 10 to 15 laps, if he gets a yellow, then this puts him up front because of the way that the tire strategy and everything's working, and everybody would likely have to come back to pit road for tires, which would give all these guys the track position. Now, the other way you could look at this is he could go all the way to the time he loses the lead to one of these guys on fresher tires. He's got John Schweikert, who pitted at lap 81, is in fourth and is 7 seconds back. William Kemp is 7.2 back, pitted at 71. And then you got Deweese and Karlovage, and those guys are 10.5 seconds back right now from the 24 car. So, I mean, there's some options here. Jose Gonzalez there in the second position. As I mentioned, there's John Schweikert in third. William Kemp coming back to take that bonus pit stop, I guess, per se, as he's been running pretty much 30-ish, 35 lap runs. And we'll pit for a third time here. As Charles Van Schaik there behind Schweikert now, and Charles still yet to pit. And here's Braxton Deweese, who's only got 0.2 of a second now on Karlovage. Van Schaik comes to pit road, and here's Justin Fuller as Yoakum about ran over the 9 car there, and as obviously Wetzel's still on the older tires. Schweikert now attacking Jose Gonzalez. This is for second. And Schweikert moving up to the second position. So for those who don't know Stephen Miles, I've kind of shared his story a little bit. He is one that sat here last season like most of you guys are doing. And he watched the broadcast. And somebody I know pretty well. And him and I were teammates on a team before in other leagues and stuff. And he sat there watching the broadcast. Him and I would talk all the time. And he said last season, he's like, I want to give this series a try. As Braxton makes the pass. And he obviously, him and I talked about it. And I told him that these guys are going to bring it. And they do every week. And Miles is one of those guys, he works hard. Like, he gets home and he's on this sim and he's racing and he's practicing and running laps. All that while trying to be a dad of 2 now. And, you know, his main goal when him and I talked about it before the season was he just wanted to go out here and earn respect. He didn't care if he won a race or not. He just wanted to go out here and earn the respect of these guys. And he, one thing he told me he was bragging about throughout the time was how drivers would actually reach out to him and help him out and talk to him and give him advice and just compliment his driving style and stuff like that. And, you know, you look at the season here, he's got the win at Daytona, won that July race. Whenever we ran that race, actually, I call it the July race, get that a habit. But here he is now leading. He's, I mean, come all so close from actually winning the championship here in his first year. So obviously a big congrats to him no matter what the result is tonight on what he has done for Fuller to miss the first few races of the season, basically starting a hole and just started showing up and winning and climbing up the leaderboard and the point standings all the way to the top. I mean, he's been fantastic to watch this year. In both series, matter of fact, he's done well in that Cup series, even though he's not a big fan of that Cup car, and he's not afraid to tell you that. And then, of course, Braxton, we kind of shared his story a little bit. How he is a rookie here also. He's been out in other leagues. Matter of fact, he was watching another league race of mine Thursday night. And, you know, obviously there's a racing family there with him, likes to cheer him on all here in chat. And has come also close to winning multiple. I mean, he could easily have won 5 races this year if you don't take away the second and thirds and stuff like that he had. But here he is, right behind Stephen Miles now. With 22 laps to go, he has passed Carl Lavage, he's passed Schweikert. And now with the freshest tires of the bunch, going to the outside of Stephen Miles. And to the lead goes the 5 car with 22 laps to go. Could be game, set, and match. As Karlovan is going to go by for second. So 21 laps to go. Let's step aside one last time, get you another break in, come back, and take you home to the finish of the NC811.org Xfinity Series on the Captain eSports Network.
When do you plan on putting in that new fence we've been talking about since last summer?
I guess I could start tomorrow.
Protect the ones you love and protect your buried utilities by contacting 811 before you dig, either by phone, the web, or the NC811 app. Know what's below before you dig. Visit nc811.org to learn more.
Back we are, 20 laps to go as we were starting to break there. Jose Gonzalez losing some spots here as Fuller and Dalton and Tommy Ryan and Van Schaik, all these guys going by here. As the laps count down, Fuller 5.2 seconds back now of Carl Lavage, and I look at the lap times of Luis, and it's about a 0.3 of a second lap difference between the 55 and the 5. Carl Lavage having another great run like he did at Charlotte Motor Speedway a couple weeks ago, which would probably be the closest track to Homestead when it comes to the wear and tear of it. Of course, Atlanta, the old Atlanta, would be the comparison track, but comparing more of the tracks in the playoffs here would have been the Charlotte track. And Karlovac, of course, went to victory lane, so there was a little bit of controversy in that one. As Fuller passes Schweikert. Obviously, Van Schaik just come off pit road, so that is for the 4th position of this race. I mean, can we be honest for a second? You know what just actually came to my head here? And what a race that I could think about to use in this situation. But the 92 finale in the Cup Series, Atlanta, has come to my head here. When I'm looking at this, there's no way of me telling. I don't have the technology or any way to share. I assume that Braxton has led the most laps in this race. I'm pretty sure of that, but I don't have that proof. Obviously, Fuller's led a bunch of laps in this race. And if you remember, you go back to the Atlanta race, Alan Kowicki led one more lap than Bill Elliott did. And that was the difference in the championship. I mean, could it be like that again? I mean, because Fuller is about 3.5 seconds off of Karlovac, which would put him in second. You know, obviously Braxton gets one more point for the most laps led. I mean, this is really potentially going to happen here. As Fuller running into third position, 15 laps to go. So the bonus points basically is, I just want to make sure I pull them up and had them verified here. So if you lead one lap, you get a point. Both of them have done that. If you lead the most laps, you get a point, which I believe that's Braxton. And if you win the race, that's 3. So you do the math on that. That is 4 points, plus 2 positions right now. So that's 6. And then obviously you subtract the 2-point deficit. So right now, Deweese would be the champion by 4 over Fuller if this race ends in, well, rain shows up or something. But guess what? There's no rain on the ovals at iRacing, so that ain't happening. But that is where we sit right now. You look back, you see Karlovaj there in the second position. There's Fuller there in third. He has got 2.7 seconds to make up on the 60 to get to him. Looking over at the lap times, they're starting to slowly even out. A 70 last time for Fuller, to 89 for Braxton, a 36.08 for Karlovaj. There's some lap traffic coming up here. Is Mark Schrader there in the 83, and Van Schaik's obviously got fresher tires. Really hate that Mike Kelly wasn't here tonight. I know I might see him tomorrow night. We'll see, but definitely want to send him a shout out, and hopefully everything's okay with him. And obviously, congrats on a great season here. He'll finish 4th in points, but he had a great season, and a big congrats to him. And just the main thing is hope everything's okay personally. So, but wanted to make sure he gets his shout out in for a great season on his part. So we don't have to go far in real life, as we talked about the 92 season and the way that thing ended, to talk about a driver that had had many starts in the Xfinity Series, but then went all the way up to his last race and went to victory lane in the finale to get his first career win and won the championship, and that being Daniel Hemrick. And as he drove for Joe Gibbs Racing, I believe it was, when he went to victory lane there at Phoenix in that finale and winning his first career race in the Xfinity side, and then also winning the championship that night. And you can't help but think about this right now, where Braxton has tried. He's had 17 top 5s, 19 top 10s. You can't count how many times he's finished second or third in a race. I mean, he's had multiple times where, as we watch Coleman and Schweiker battle here for 6th, where he had the checkered flag pretty much taken. Caution comes out, and on the green-white checker, something happens, and he loses the win. You know, I think back to Richmond. I think back to Mike Kelly's win at Dover, for example. You know, what a way to smash open the first win door in this series, with winning the final race and also walking away with the championship. You could argue that Braxton deserves this championship because of the fact that he had the regular season points lead. Now, Sim500 and their rules state that there's no bonus points applied for the championship standings in the regular season. It is simply done by your wins. And of course, he had no wins going into the playoffs, so because of that, he started back at the basic playoff number. As we look back here at Tyler Dalton, Jose Gonzalez, and Steven Miles battling around the 10th position. But the big news, obviously, is when he got to the second round, everybody went back to 0 because there were no bonus points awarded starting the second round. And basically from there, it's been pretty much an even kill the whole way. But one thing I'm not going to do is give up on Jason Karlovich, because he is putting pressure on this 5 car with 0.4 of a second and 5 laps to go here. And Fuller is actually faster a little bit here too now. The last time by, they all ran the same lap time basically, but Fuller's got this thing down to 2.2 seconds, and Stephen Miles is back on pit road. I'm correct. Let me correct myself. This is Miles' second stop. So he has finally come to pit road here with 5 to go. He did everything possible to put himself in position to win a championship. He had nothing to lose. So it's all Hail Marys and stuff like that tonight. And a big shout out, big congrats to Miles on a great season, as he's going to top her off and try to get to the finish line. 4 laps to go. Oh, Fuller gets loose there as he's trying to get around the 83. I'm sure he's not happy. He's probably saying something to the 83 like, dude, out of the way, man. That is 2.6 seconds separating those two. As Karlovich putting the pressure on, trying to get to the 5 to try to win this race at least. Within 0.4 as Braxton kind of pulls him off the corner there. 2 laps to go. They worked their way through 3 and 4. Braxton really pulling away now. 0.6 over Karlovich. Fuller just too far back and going to run out of time. As the white flag will wave. Final lap. As long as he can get across here. I don't see a yellow waving. So white flag. Final lap of the season in history. Young man out of Miamisburg, Ohio, has finished bridesmaid many times this season. He was the regular season champion, and he saved the best for last. On tonight, he will be crowned a winner and a champion in Sim 500. Braxton Deweese has done it. He did out and went and did exactly what he said he would do, or wanted to do, and that was lead the most laps and win the race. And now I can 99.9% surely say he's the champion of this series. Just from the math in my head, but that's not guaranteed, unfortunately. Either way, the man has his victory. He is going to celebrate here, and I'm going to wait just a minute here to see. The points will get updated pretty quickly here. They just got to get everybody across the line pretty much, and I'm not sure who actually puts them in there. I don't know if it's Wortman or whoever, but should be pretty simple here. But we'll talk to the guys here in the point standings that obviously competed here. We'll see if I can get a word with Miles potentially, as I'm sure he'll be disappointed coming up short of the championship, but still to finish third here tonight. He should be nothing short of proud for what he did here. I see Brian Wortman up there in chat with Deweese right now, so that might tell me something right there. But let's we'll at least talk to our, actually let's go through the results first. Let's do that one step at a time here, Scala. As Deweese wins it by 9/10 of a second, gets his first career win over Jason Karlovan, Justin Fuller third, Wesley Donaldson fourth, Tommy Ryan finishing in the 5th position. 6 goes to Chad Coleman, Robert Friery 7th, Bob Gillenwater 8th, John Schweikert 9th, and again ahead of myself again, Jose Gonzalez 10th, Kevin Brown finishing in the 11th position. 12th goes to Joe Hudson, William Kemp in the 13th position, Nelson Rivera 14th, Bobby Wetzel 15th, Tyler Dalton 16th, Charles Van Schaik 17th, Mark Schrader 18th, Gerald Livingston 19th, and Stephen Wiles 20th, Randy Oakham 21st, Jeff Ryan 22nd, Brian Wortman 23rd, Anthony Calantoni 24th, Josh Parker 25th, and the one of 2 cars it looks like to finish behind the wall when this thing is all said and done here. So let's talk to our second place finisher. We're going to do this a little out of order, but let's talk to Karlovage, and we'll talk to Fuller here in just a moment. As Braxton celebrates and his logo is photobombing my screen now. It happens. It's because I hit that button right there is why it happened. There we go. All right. Let's talk to Karlovage, who finishes in the 2nd position here tonight and almost won another 1.5 mile race here. As Jason, man, what a trek for you, as obviously doing what you had to do to come up there. I want to say through the field, but you obviously only gained 2 positions technically, starting 4th, but it seemed like you just kind of fell back a little bit there at the start of the race and just started slowly picking them off with pit stops, and you had your chance to get the win tonight.
Yeah, we did. Good job to Braxton for, hanging on to it there at the end and saving enough with his tires to, to continue to hold us off there at the end. That was a fun race. I think that's the 4th race in a row we went caution free in this series, which is pretty cool. It was a good race. Got loose in turn 1, lap 1. Lost about 4 spots there, so just kind of stuck in behind everybody there and just wanted to save my tires and just kind of let them come back to me, and that plan worked out. And then the goal is just to stick with Braxton the rest of the race. I was pretty much going to try to do whatever he did and stay behind him and be there at the end, and everything worked. Just didn't have enough to get by him.
Yeah, obviously it was a tough race out there, and I did see that bobble in the middle of 1 and 2 there. You were right in the middle lane when that happened, but obviously it had to be satisfying the way these couple of weeks have gone for you to get that win at Charlotte, to come up 2nd here, and kind of makes you get ready for 2025 and wish it was starting tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sad this series is ending. I don't think we have another one lined up until next year with the Xfinity cars. So love racing these things. It puts a lot in the driver's hands with the way they drive. So it's just a lot of fun to go out there and wheel it and have to save tires. And, these long runs really, allow us to show who's saving tires the most throughout the run. So, shout out to everyone in this league for, the past month of racing in the series, and everyone at Sim500 for, doing a great job with this series.
Well, obviously a great job this evening, and congratulations, and hopefully we'll see you soon, but send some shout outs if you haven't already.
Yeah, thanks Speedway Collective for hopping on board again. NC8100 or 811 for sponsoring the series, and Sim500 for putting the show on for us, and you as well, Chris, for putting on the broadcast, and looking forward to racing whatever comes next. I think we're gonna run some late models on Sundays next, so looking forward to that.
Spoiler alert!
Uh-oh.
I kind of teased it a little bit ago. It's like something a little different, probably coming in the off season. But hey,
That's the rumor I've heard.
Hey, great job, bud.
Thanks, Chris. See you.
You too, buddy. Jason Karlovaj, the second place finisher here tonight, and officially the points are updated. Let's pull them up here on the screen, and it is my honor and distinction to say congratulations to Braxton DeWeese, who is officially the champion of the NC811.org Xfinity season. Get the right points loaded up here. There we go. As he wins it by 4, as I thought I was doing the math right, and I was. And gets that first career win tonight. 18th top 5, 20th top 10. Fuller finishes second. Miles third. Kelly ends up fourth in points. Actually tied with Kevin DeBrown for fourth. I thought Kelly was going to be set to be fourth, but wow, fell that far down. When it's all said and done, Calantoni ends up fifth. Scott Simley sixth, or I'm sorry, Calantoni sixth, Simley seventh, Mac McMillan eighth, and then you see the guys back here in the other column of the second round here. Tyler Dalton getting the best of that battle for the points position. Now, there was one other point battle that while we talked to our runner-up here in the point standings, and let me see if Miles is actually hanging out here in Chatty. Don't think he is, but let's talk to our runner-up here in the point standings, as Fuller came so close, but unfortunately it just kind of fell off there. And obviously the key there, that first run there, it looked like the right rear. I mean, that thing was just screaming at you at the end. How much did that hurt you in the end?
Yeah, when you get drove through into the corner, it doesn't help. Braxton was faster than me at that point anyway, but he just drove flat through me going into one. So, and we just struggled the rest of that run. We could never get the tire back at that point. We were able to maintain, and we actually had a lot of long run pace in the last 2 runs. It wasn't enough. I kind of faded him into pitting and was kind of either hoping for a caution by the time that I came to pit road, or just some sort of mistake out of him pitting late. I don't know. I was just trying anything that I could at that point, and wasn't enough. So I kind of knew it going into this. I shot myself in the foot for the championship. I mean, I had 2 bad races in a row to start this round. So. And it was nobody's doing but my own. I hit the wall at Vegas, and I screwed up qualifying at Charlotte and started in the back. So nobody to blame but myself. It was a great season. Lots of wins, lots of top 5s, lots of top 10s, lots of interviews. It was a really good season. I enjoy this car. It's just it's very fitting. It's very normal for me to always choke one of these away, whether it's the Cup Series or the Xfinity Series. So I expected it coming in tonight, and it happened. So we'll just move on, and I think the biggest thing that we need to take out of this is we ran 535 straight laps in the series without a caution. So hats off to everybody that did that, and that was a phenomenal race again to go caution free like that.
Yeah, that's very fitting. That's an awesome stat there. 535 laps, and I remember obviously. I just don't remember when in the race was that specific last caution, but obviously 5 races ago, not even in this round. I mean, the whole entire round without a caution. So. I guess if there's any kind of consolidation here, maybe, or any kind of a bonus per se, you came up with this awesome idea. I believe it was you and the guys that came up with the secondary points idea, the best of the rest, if you will. And looks like you got the most in that.
Well, I guess that's one thing to hang your head on, right? I mean, I started the season so late. I was able to rack up all those points and really get myself up there in the regular season, So. You look at the driver rating, and I was
the only one over 100, I think. Yeah, no, I knew what you mean. Yeah,
it doesn't matter, right? So, it does suck, but at the end of the day, it's just a hobby, and I enjoy doing it. I had a lot of fun, and I mean, I may have came up 1 point short or 2 points short or whatever it was. I was really hoping Jason was going to get there because you get 3 bonus points for winning the race, and if he could have taken those 3 points away, we would have actually tied on points, and I would have got the tiebreaker. So, but nonetheless, it was a great season. Just had a lot of fun, and I really enjoy this car, and looking forward to what's next. Hopefully we do some late model racing here on Sunday nights possibly, and have some fun doing that.
Absolutely, man. Well, hey, best of luck, obviously, tomorrow and through the rest of the Cup Series season. Congrats on a good season here with the 6 wins, and send some shout outs to everybody like to.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks to you for putting on the broadcast. Thanks to Sim500 and all the admins for what they do. Thanks to NC811 for sponsoring the series. Thanks to all the admins. I think I already said that. Thanks to everybody in the races. Thanks to everybody who watched. You know, it's just it's so phenomenal to run 4 races in a row caution free. You really can't get anything better than that. And it's just, you know, it's basically comes down to not making any mistakes. You couldn't ask for a championship round that's better than that. And I just made too many mistakes, came up short, and that's the story of it. We're just gonna hang our hat. We had a great season, and come back next year and hopefully try and win it again, or try and win it for the first time.
Right. Nah, absolutely, man. Well, hey, great job, congratulations, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. You too. Justin Fuller, the runner-up, unfortunately, in the point standings, and you can hear the frustration in it, but he had a 107 rating, and the closest to person to him this year was Braxton, who actually just cracked 100 tonight. So 107 rating. So you could argue he was the fastest guy, but as they say sometimes, the fastest guy doesn't win it, and he put the blame on himself for the way the season ended, or the second round began for him with the issues. So yeah, the last caution, I'm going to try to do this as we talk to Braxton here, was at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We had 3 cautions, and Pedro Mojica won that race. Excuse me, I want to see if I can go find the exact lap. But you heard Fuller mention 535 straight laps of caution-free racing to cap off the Xfinity season, and let's go get the champ now and bring him up to the booth and have a talk with him, as Braxton DeWeese did everything exactly as you said you needed to do. You went out there, led the most laps, you led a lap. I mean, you and Fuller went to war pretty much as soon as the green flag waved, it seemed like, but in the end, the long run paid off for you, and you're officially the 2024 Sim500 Xfinity Series champion. And we've already started that GoFundMe, by the way, for his microphone. Joking. He's talking to us. We just don't hear him. He's checking back. He'll be here in a second.
You got me?
Yeah, I do now. Oh, I had him for a second. He might have to use his cell phone. Poor guy. Anyways, we'll get him here in a second. He'll we're in the channel with him, so he'll pop up here in a second. And he's doing everything he can. It's kind of funny watching him go through Discord here and move around and switch around and stuff like that. Unfortunately, not able to hear him. He's so excited he finished off his microphone, literally. So talking about that best of the rest deal that Fuller came, there we go.
I've joined on my phone. I'm talking to you like I'm making a phone call here.
All right, there we go. 1-800-COLLECT. Here we go with Braxton DeWeese. You don't even know what that is. Anyways, congratulations on the championship and the win here tonight, going home with on the big step.
Yeah, most definitely. With like the interview that we had before the race, like I said, I just had to hit the marks like I needed to, and we were able to do that. So I'm glad how we were able to use the strategy and whatnot, and pit when we did, and be able to hold off the guys and come out with the win.
Obviously, a great effort on your part. It started, I mean, right off the bat, you two were just running into each other and squeezing each other off the corners and stuff like that. That had to be kind of intense, and then kind of had to settle back down and work the pit strategy out. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely starting out front was a big deal. Being able to lead that lap helped, but then he was able to lead that next lap and pretty much put it exactly to where it was when we started. So when he got by me, I kind of just like, all right, you need to settle in and just try to save your stuff and see if you can get him on the long run. I definitely didn't want him to get by me there, but he got underneath me and he was able to make it work there earlier there in the run and got around me. So After that, like I said, I just wanted to settle in, try to see if we could have it on the long run, and we were able to get around him after. Unfortunately, we made some contact. I was going to enter a lot higher than I had been, and then he entered higher than he had been, and I didn't expect that, and kind of hit him in the back. He slid just a teeny bit, and I went up the track, and then I was able to cut down and be able to get the grip and get around him. So unfortunately, the contact happened there, but fortunately, we were able to get around him and get the clean air there and pull away a little bit and start to settle in and look at our strategy and start to work on that and make sure we kept the rears on her. And like I said, just try to settle in.
Obviously, a lot of work this season, and a lot of seconds, a lot of thirds, a lot of heartbreak. Is this kind of allow that other stuff to clear away and be like, all right, I got what I needed at the end?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, when you race obviously to get wins, but the main goal, if you're competitive and up there run up front, is obviously to get the championship. So just happy that we were able to come home with that, and wish we could have had, a better record of wins and stuff, but it doesn't really matter. We came home with the championship, and that's all that really matters to me right now. So just super stoked that we were able to do it.
Well, you guys are going to be celebrating right down the road here, obviously in Ohio, but obviously I know your family's going to be proud of you, and everybody likes to cheer you on in the series. Congratulations, and take the time and send some shouts whoever you like to.
Yeah, most definitely. I appreciate everybody that tunes into the broadcast and into my live stream now too. So it's pretty cool that I have supporters that watch almost every race. There's a couple, so that's just awesome that we got people watching me go around in a circle on a video game, just trying to live my dream to race in real life sometimes. So I really do appreciate them, and they're the ones that definitely help make everything look better, just in general, with support and the sponsors and stuff like that, and just having a following. So really looking forward to the future. I know there was been a couple words saying a short track series coming up on Sundays, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking to actually run street stocks in real life, so I'm trying to work on my short track craft and try to get that as best as I can. So big shout out to everybody that tunes in and supports me, as well as Interstate Ford. They're a big help. Allen's Arts Images, Venice Publical, Jane's on Main, Deweese Renovations, and Booth 34 Diecast. We finally got the win for them. I known that we've been saying we'll get the win for them, and we finally did. So I'm glad we were able to get the win and the championship in the same night for them. So big shout out to Booth 34 Diecast there, as well as Unrivaled Photography, Blaze Designs, Evan Pineda Designs, and Bully Dog Coffee Company. We actually got the sponsorship of Bully Dog from the Sim500 in the broadcast here. He was in the chat, and we got that hooked up. I know we got it hooked up with Mac too. Unfortunately, Mac wasn't able to run for the championship. He missed a couple races and had some internet problems just from some work and stuff. So that's very unfortunate. He was definitely competitive all year, and it'd been interesting to see him up there. Another Bully Dog Coffee Company car, but you can use Brax5 for 10% off over there, and I appreciate him for letting me use that, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in, like I said, and glad we were able to come home with the championship.
There you go. Congratulations, and go celebrate with the family.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate you.
Yep, sir. That's Braxton Deweese, the champion here of Sim500 in the NC811.org Xfinity Series, and also the winner here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. So it pretty much came down to when it was over with. I mean, let's clear this up by saying this was not a win and you're the champion type of thing. The points were so tight in this last round that, by the way, 545 lap caution free as mentioned, that it literally came down to having to win pretty much to win the championship. If he doesn't win, it's a tie pretty much. So it literally, 1992 is coming back to my mind. There's two references that Braxton went in alive for: the 92 points championship and 1-800 collect. He has no clue what that is, but either way, great job on his part and winning the championship. Great job on Fuller's part. Obviously, all the drivers to run that many laps caution free is amazing. It's something I've never seen before until now. So, congrats to those guys. And the only time you'll ever see 545 laps of caution free racing, probably in iRacing, is if the race doesn't have cautions or it's on a road course. That'd pretty much be it. So, all right. Sunday nights officially in the books here for Sim500. Now it's to Monday nights, obviously the Cup Series. Still got plenty of races to go, and Daytona's tomorrow night. We'll be there on the air at 8:15 Eastern Time for the NC811.org Cup Series. And, of course, mentioned earlier tonight the last race for the 811 guys to sponsor the Xfinity Series, so I definitely want to send a shout-out to all of you. I know I can speak for Joey Jatina, as he says thank you to everyone from 811 for what they've done in these 3 seasons. I believe it has been, might even be 2 seasons as the Xfinity Series sponsor of the league, and so on and so forth. But well done on their part. Now, 2025, we kind of move on here. So to the 2025 season, I unfortunately don't know what the plans are for the Xfinity season. I assume they're going to be starting in January like this year. And you've heard a couple of drivers mention the late model series. Now, we've been talking. I don't want to confirm anything, but as of right now, it looks like that late model series that happens during the winter time or whatever will be here on the Captain Esports Network. I'll let you know if that ends up happening here, of course, on the Discord page and so on and so forth, but we'll have to see. However, it's the first time a lot of you are going to hear this. I've kept it quiet. Most of the drivers know this by now, and I don't want to turn this into this, but it's going to be the way it is, unfortunately, here. But this was the last Xfinity Series race you're going to see on the Captain Esports Network, as I'm kind of making a couple of changes for 2025 and so on and so forth. So obviously when that series gets here come next January, it'll be on another channel likely, but it wasn't without a lot of fun, as I enjoyed being around these guys and stuff, but we still got Monday to go. So looking forward to going and doing that coming up here tomorrow night and into the future. So we're not going to make this any kind of sad thing. It's been a great season, been a lot of fun. Congrats to all the drivers, and congrats to the only driver so far not named Pedro Mojica to win a championship in a series on the Captain Esports Network. Braxton Deweese is that guy. So congrats to him. Congrats to everybody. A big shout out to NC811. Big shout out to Sim500. Let's go home and enjoy the rest of our Sunday nights, as I actually get to go learn how to direct in an airplane tomorrow. That should be fun. All right. This isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be reproduced, reused, or retransmitted in any form without the authorized written consent of Captain Esports Network. Captain would like to thank all of his loyal fans for their continued support, and hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
The following is a special presentation